Hey guys, p.e.k.k.a here, and we are back with a perfect 12-win Grand Challenge deck, this time with a PEKKA Graveyard deck. We are also playing the Executioner Tornado combo in this. It is still really strong. Tornado did receive that nerf about a week ago, so that did affect the Hog matchup a little bit with Tornado, as well as it also doesn't kill Goblins anymore. But I feel like there's a lot less Goblin Gang, because Goblin Gang got nerfed, as well as there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of Goblin Barrels right now. So all in all, the only real change is that I see a lot of at the moment is just versus Hog Riders, meaning that it will still get a hit on your tower instead of fully stopping it. We're playing Ice Golem in this version. One of the benefits of Ice Golem in this version is that it can also act as a lightning rod, which happened once or twice in these matchups, protecting your Night Witch, because your P.E.K.K.A, Ice Golem, and Tower could protect your Night Witch from being lightninged, or your Ice Golem Executioner and Tower could protect your Night Witch from dying, which is pretty nice. Another note about this deck is it does have 4 spells that can make for some weird starting hands once again. So do keep that in mind, that you often do want to let your opponent play first in this deck. So let's hop right into this chest opening, and then let's get into some matches. Okay. So, another 22,000 gold. Let's see, all these commons are going to convert to gold, so we'll skip those. Even our elixir collectors. Finally getting some gold out of our rares. Okay, our first epic is a bowler. Always with the heals every time. Okay. 350-ish rockets to go, not too bad. Okay. And finally, let's see what we get for our epics. Ah, nice. 10 lightning. That's my highest epic because that's what I've been requesting. I still have to do that today. Request my epic Sunday request, so that'll be pretty good. Oh, but that's exactly what I wanted in lightning. Haven't had that in a while. Okay, so let's get into these matches. We had a nice sampling of matches this time. It's not all 3 Musketeers like it's been in a couple other recent Grand Challenges. So no 3 Musketeer matches in this one. And we're going to face our first match versus a double Dragon Lava Hound deck. Okay, so he played Pump before we were at Max Elixir. That did change my play. I was planning on leading with Night Witch, but because he pumped up, I decided that I would go with a big P.E.K.K.A push, which isn't always common. I wasn't also expecting that he was playing Lava Hound right at the beginning. I was thinking that he was either going to be playing either 3 Musketeers or Golem. So, unfortunately, our push went terribly. That's the best way to say it. He was able to stop us with his Inferno Dragon plus Tombstone, as those were great combos versus us, and he's able to get even a little chip damage over here. And now he's up 2 pumps, but we're not going to have any of that, so we're going to do one of my favorite things and pump and Graveyard Poison right on him. So he pumps, he drops a Skeleton Army, which immediately dies to the poison. Now he's got this Baby Dragon that's also in the poison. So all in all, that was a 13 for 9, as well as we do 700 damage on the tower, of which he'll not get too much. And that was a terrible Tornado, as he still got two breaths off. Okay, so let's fix that now that we know what we're playing against. We do know that he's playing Lava Hound just based on Tombstone pretty much, and now we finally get to see it. Okay, so we don't drop Executioner start, we're just dropping the Night Witch to start so that she starts building bats. We want her to start building bats, obviously, because we know that he has Inferno Dragon. That'll take that Inferno Dragon forever to get through those. So we now have our Night Witch, and he's got an Electro Wizard, and our bats are doing a great job. We'll drop an Ice Golem to tank, preventing a whole lot of damage. So he did a very nice Fireball, pushing our Executioner back, allowing him to get some hits on our tower with his E-Wiz, as well as his Baby Dragon. So now we're ready to go. Let's get this push going. So we're just a second late with that graveyard to get that Inferno Dragon on, but we're still getting a lot of damage on over here, and that Night Witch is still up and still creating bats, which is pretty good. And they're going to do some work on that Inferno Dragon, get some more ticks on that tower. So now we do have a nice little lead, and he goes for an aggressive Lava Hound right here at the front. We do need to get back to that tornado as soon as possible. And that Inferno Dragon is doing some work against our troops, our tanks. But our Executioner is doing tons of work against his tower. And just like that, we're able to get rid of that E-Wiz. And now we're ready for our push. And we have our Ice Golem, Poison Graveyard. And just like that, we're going to take this tower down in no time. Ice Golem makes a great mini tank for your Graveyard Poison. Specifically because it only costs 2 elixir, so that means your whole push is 11. So you got a tank, Graveyard Poison, and that can wind up being one of your main pushes in this deck. Also, you can start a big push in the back, and then once the tower's down, you could drop your Ice Golem in the center to tank the king, allowing you to get another strong Graveyard push. Okay, so once again, we're going to reverse another pump user. Now, this deck that we're facing is only one card off from the deck that I've been playing. So he's playing arrows instead of log, but this is the Golem Night Witch deck, and we're gonna go with an aggressive P.E.K.K.A and get him right on his Golem right away. So we're able to take down that P.E.K.K.A on his side of the map with our Golem plus our Night Witch. It was a bit greedy on that tornado, and now we do have to defend this push still with this Executioner coming in. I'm sorry, with the Baby Dragon coming in, defended with our Executioner. Now once again, we're in the same spot, 2 pumps against us. So we're going to start with that push. We have our our Ice Golem, Graveyard, and Poison. So we will poison that Night Witch, taking her out along with the bats, and just like that, 100-0 tower, as well as we're going to get a bunch of damage on his king. But now we have to deal with a Golem that is barreling down on us. So unfortunately, this is looking real bad. We got a Golem on the tower, a Baby Dragon, and a Mega Minion beating down our Golem. P.E.K.K.A's going to do some work, is going to take down that Golem, but our P.E.K.K.A is not gonna survive that relentless beating, and then we get lightninged as well. So all in all, we traded towers, which is okay because we got the tower lead on the other side. Normally you don't want to do that in graveyard decks, but this deck is heavy enough that it's got plenty of tanks to be able to tank additional graveyards, which hopefully you'll get to see pretty soon. Okay, so now we know that he's got Night Witch and the Golem. So once again, we can drop our Golem to our P.E.K.K.A to protect our Night Witch. So now we'll get a nice value Executioner here, and he's back with his another Golem, but unfortunately our Night Witch pushes our Executioner into the tower range. So we're gonna need to still deal with this push, but we are all the way back to our Executioner again, and this won't be too much of a problem for an X-Tornado combo. So we'll pull that all back. Executioner will do tons of work here. Okay, so he decides that he's going to Golem the other lane, and with that said, as soon as we see that he plays this Night Witch, we know this game is over, because he's got no other defenses on the ground. With no other defenses on the ground, both towers tanked by Ice Golem and by P.E.K.K.A, we are right on the tower. And just like that, before that Golem comes anywhere close, that tower is dead. So, against Graveyard, with his only ground defense being that Night Witch and not having log, that was a bad move for him to put that Night Witch behind there. But even so, I think poisoning the Night Witch would have been a bit slow. So let's hop into one more match. Okay. So this game is versus Zeph. And this is versus a different P.E.K.K.A graveyard deck. I'm not sure what to think of this opening, just leading with a Knight. I'll stop it with my Ice Golem. And we'll drop a Night Witch. Okay, and we learn that immediately that he plays a P.E.K.K.A. Okay, so we are going to graveyard ourselves. He drops a nice proactive poison on our Night Witch as well as the graveyard. It's pretty well played by him, but we are able to get about 500 damage off on the tower. 600 damage off on the tower, not too bad. But now we do have his P.E.K.K.A coming down at us. Okay, so we will drop our own P.E.K.K.A, and then all of a sudden we find a graveyard. I wasn't really expecting that right away for some reason. And we do a great job with our Ice Golem. And we're gonna take some damage over on the right from that Battle Ram, but we were able to stop the Battle Ram from the charge damage. But figure that we'll just take it at this point and go on with our graveyard push. And once again, we weren't able to bait out that poison, so only another couple hundred damage over here. So take off about another 300 to 400 health. So he does have the lead right now, but we do have a slight elixir advantage. So we'll start with our Night Witch push in the back. I do like starting with the Night Witch pushes, as it does build up those bats pretty quickly. So once again, we're here with another graveyard push. So our Ice Golem does an okay job tanking. Log will clean up, and we didn't get anywhere on the left, unfortunately. But now we do have a full health P.E.K.K.A coming in, along with our Ice Golem. He drops a P.E.K.K.A. We're going to drop our Ice Golem and our graveyard and our Night Witch on the other side. We're gonna get some pretty good damage over here because look at all those bats. Those bats are gonna just do tons of work. Night Witch does tons of work, spawns 3 more bats, and just like that, that's the first tower of the game. Now, this tower is probably going to die, but we are definitely going to need to defend that Battle Ram, and why I love P.E.K.K.A in this meta. One big chop by the P.E.K.K.A, taking out that Battle Ram. Okay, so now we have Night Witch down, Executioner down. We are starting our push, our graveyard push on the other side to log everything down. Get a little bit of damage, got a pretty good damage there. So he didn't want his tower taking too much damage from the P.E.K.K.A, so he drops a defensive Battle Ram, but that doesn't do anything versus P.E.K.K.A. And just like that, let's get on this tower. We're going to pull that P.E.K.K.A right in front of the tower so that we can get our Executioner on the tower. Now Executioner will splash the P.E.K.K.A as well as the tower, and just like that, that Executioner with that new axe sound takes it down. Okay guys, I hope you very much enjoyed this deck. We did extremely well with this, with that perfect 12-0. I hope you guys have just as good of luck, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.